Good afternoon and welcome to CBM Calling for this special report from India. We're pleased to be joined by Suraj Komaravalli, our team leader. Good evening to you. Thanks for taking some time to share with us as Canadians the situation in India. One of the questions, Suraj, that we're hearing a lot from our churches and supporters is how are you doing? How's your family doing? How's CP and his family in light of what's going on?
Yeah, thank you so much for your concern and especially towards my family and CP's family in India. By God's grace, both both of us and our families are doing well. Me and my wife could have our first dose of vaccine, AstraZeneca. CP and his wife too just yesterday were lucky to get their vaccination again AstraZeneca, and my daughter, because she's in the medical school, has the privilege of having both the vaccines. Okay, sorry, both the doses, and but my younger daughter has to wait for her turn, and on the other hand, CP's son is also getting prepared to get his vaccination. So at this stage, health-wise, we're doing well, and we thank you for your prayers.
Well, it's great to hear. I know people have been concerned. We've been watching the news, the reports from India, and seeing this variant just take off and record numbers of cases and deaths. I wonder, could you just give us a bit of an overview of the situation as you see it in India right now?
Right. India is going through the second wave, that's what we call it here, and this has turned out to be a chaos or an emergency for us. Unlike the first wave, this one is mutated and it is spreading rapidly. Earlier, it used to mainly target the elderly and the middle age, but now, irrespective of people, it's sort of infecting or affecting everybody. So, in this context, India actually, I would say, were not that well prepared to actually face the second wave because of the earlier hope that they were able to withstand the first wave. But unfortunately, things did not work out well. So, in this time, what we see is there is inadequate vaccines. People are waiting in the queue, waiting for their time, their turns, long queues. Even to get a COVID test done is you have to stand in a long queue. And then there is the worst case is the lack of oxygen cylinders. And this one we see many people in the newspapers, on the TV, and even live that family members are actually carrying the oxygen cylinders as their dear one who is suffering from COVID is being rushed to the hospital. And that's such a pathetic situation to see. And then
Yeah.
we are able to see that the family members actually are running to the refilling centers, waiting for their turn to get the oxygen cylinder filled. In addition to that, we have lack of beds too. I mean, on the board they say there are beds, but when you get there, there are no beds. And life-saving drugs are also sold in the black market. It's turning out to be a big mafia. Unfortunately, even the ambulances are charging 4 to 5 times their usual rates, and people are actually dying waiting for treatment. And family members are running from pillar to post, and this is really affecting us in our present situation.
One of the things, Suraj, that I found just devastating to see on the news is pictures of hospitals with signs out front saying like they have no oxygen, so patients aren't allowed to be admitted. Is that widespread that you're seeing?
Oh, the reason of spreading, I would say part of it is the people themselves. Very few took it seriously. They didn't really believe in that we need to wear the mask, we need to be careful, the social distancing, the protocols were unfortunately not maintained. In addition to that, the government too did not realize that it will hit so hard. So they too were not prepared. They didn't get the vaccines ordered, nor all the emergency medicines ready. So it's both sides. And what we are beginning to see is that it has become a health disaster in the context of importance being given to the power, authority, and religion in the country. And there are, surprisingly, religious gatherings are allowed in contrary to people going to bury their dead. They say that not more than 20 can go to bury the dead. Not more than this number can go and cremate a particular family member. But on the other hand, 3.5 million were allowed to go and join together for a religious festival. So it is this kind of a scenario that we are seeing, and that is hurting the situation.
It's devastating. How are our partners doing?
Our partners, I would try to put them in two categories. One are those who live in the interiors, mainly in the mountains, like the Saura Baptists, the people in Nagaland. By God's grace, that's not, in this context, it's not a busy area. So people don't come there for business or any other things. Therefore, they are maintaining themselves well, but not the other places like my place, the Kakinada Seminary area, our partners there, and also our Oriya partners in Parlakamidi. These are all heavy and dense COVID areas. And here, unfortunately, some of our programs have to be kept on hold, but the ones that are in the interiors, by God's grace, they are running. On the whole, our partners are doing well, although there were some deaths in the past. But in the CBCNC church that CBM actually had started way back, that was the first church that CBM started in India. In a matter of 24 hours, I could see 4 deaths. One happened to be my former colleague, and then 2 were my former students. And the pictures are so graphic that we are unable to share them. Blood actually coming out from one person's mouth. Probably the lungs took a major beating, trying to get oxygen. I don't know what is the situation, but this is the kind of difficult stages that we are going through. Many pastors in the Telugu Baptists are affected with COVID. We're just praying for a miracle that one day we could see light.
Wow, it's very, very difficult. I know throughout this pandemic, CBM has tried to respond through our partners to demonstrate the hope and love and grace of God in the midst of this. How does CBM continue to respond in India right now?
So CBM always, for the partners, stands out as a major source of support. And till recently, we were involved in providing relief through to the beneficiaries and many the needy in the among the partners. Food provisions were provided, medical equipment like sanitizers, face masks, and other things were given to them. That to a greater extent has helped our partners. I am sure without proper sanitizers or mask or even soaps, things may have been different. So in that respect, God has led us well in our partnership. But now they're facing a different reality where the government actually restricts people from coming together. So they need a lot of prayers at this time. Prayers for protection and healing for the partners, and we hope that we will continue to partner in a different way that meets the needs of the partners.
Yeah, maybe let's wrap up with that. One of the things that people we see this in the news. We see nonstop cremations, record deaths, record numbers, hospitals on the brink of collapse. We hear from you firsthand accounts of pastors and leaders with our partners passing away from COVID. It can seem hopeless, and people say, well, how can we help? How can we pray? I wonder, could you give us just some, you started to there, but just some real specific, what are things that we can pray for in India today?
I would request us to pray for God's hand in containing the spread of the virus, because it has really shattered the people in a great way. We are we pray for global support, better understanding. We also pray for our leaders to have a good heart, and if there is any politics or business coming in, let it be put aside, that we come forward in justice and peace. I request for prayers for our partners, the local churches, the beneficiaries, to press on in greater faith and hope that the Lord is there to heal us, to bring us out, and to use us for His service. I know times are difficult, but your prayers are important for us. Prayers give us the power, give us hope, give us energy, and we look forward to you.
Well, thank you, Suraj, for taking this time. Please pass on to our partners as you work with them that that they're not alone. That your friends, your partners in Canada are praying for you, are standing with you, and we do trust that the Lord will continue to bring you through this really challenging season in India, and we pray for quick resolution, for good decisions, and that the Lord would be at work.